Hello once again, and welcome to the vaults, my dear Delver friends. This is, I think, going to be the final episode, the final edition of this little mini series about creating an ancestry, homebrewing it for my Pathfinder 2nd Edition game. At least this ancestry, a creature known as the Gnishiho. So if you're like me, you're a former dungeon master who's become a game master for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but you got a bunch of homebrewed stuff that you used to play in your old game and you want to transport it on over to Pathfinder, but you're not sure how. Well, that's what this series of videos has been about. Taking an old game that you've been playing for years, moving it from one game system to the other. Today, I'm going to finish up at least the draft version of my Gnishiho's feats. I'm going to focus on heritage specific feats. So if you don't know anything about Pathfinder, feats are the abilities, the powers that your character selects every time they level up. And they get new abilities, new powers, new attacks, new moves, whatever it is. And they become more and more powerful. And some of those feats are connected to your character's heritage or their race if it was a D&D game. And within your ancestry, you have heritages, which would be like subraces. They are your specific lineage that your particular ancestry is, focused on or derives from. A lot of times it's sort of your ecology, your geography, like an Arctic version or a forest version, whatever. But in my game world, most of the ancestries or heritages are based upon cultural influences. That's mainly because my game world, the Vaults, is in a pretty static environment, a subterranean giant pancake stack of caverns that goes ever deeper into the world. So there's not, I mean, there is variation within the geography, but not enough to warrant Arctic versions and desert versions and subterranean versions, etc. So instead, I'm focusing in on those social, those cultural differences. So I've come up with, what was it, 6 different versions of Heritage for my Gnishiho, which are a Svirfneblin recast, a Svirfneblin remaster. We have the Bleachling. These poor Svirfneblin Gnishiho, they have suffered from the bleaching. They have lost all color, all joy from their life. We have the Earthcaller. These Gnishiho are tied into the power of the Ur that is flowing through the earth, these through telluric currents, the magnetic energy, the electromagnetism that the earth is generating. You have the gadgeteers, tinkerers, engineers, innovators. You've got the Gemblades, warriors who are able to channel the warp stone energy of the earth through tattoos and their gemstone weaponry to defend their people from the horrors of the deep. You've got the Refractionist, a master of light manipulation, a conjurer of illusions, shadows, being able to manipulate the way light passes through the air, through mirrors and lenses and such, to make you see things that do not exist. And then last but not least, we have the Rune Carver. These Gnishiho have mastered the ability to use the ancient Jotun runic powers, magic, in order to carve symbols of power into stones and gems to unleash the ancient Ur energy that is manifesting as magical powers and such. And so, where I left off with my feat creation for these Gnishiho was with these 6 heritages. I wanted to create a set of feats that would be specific and tailored to each and every one of these. And so, the normal way this works is that you have a set of ancestry feats that you pick one at first level and then a new one every 4 levels after that, 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th. In the last video, I went through the process of creating a whole bunch of first level feats. And what I want to do is jump ahead to the bottom here, where I want to create one additional feat at each of those levels for each of those heritages. So I've got 6 heritages, I've got 5 levels of feats So 6 times 5, that's 30 feats. So I'd like to go through that process. How do you go ahead and create brand spanking new feats for an ancestry that you've homebrewed that doesn't exist in the actual game, and then come up with some unique, interesting, cool, fun, exciting feats. And so I'm going to get assistance from my muse, Kathy. This is Chatty Kathy, Chatbot GPT, or Chat GPT. I don't think it's Chatbot, I think it's Chat GPT. It's my AI. I've been using it for a lot of things. So if you've been watching, you've seen me use it before. I'm going to use it again right now. We're going to start with the Bleachling. We're going to take a look at what we've developed for this heritage. We're going to feed that into Kathy. We're then going to ask her to take that theme, take where we were with that particular lineage, and ask her to generate a series of feats based upon that flavor of Gnishiho. That so it ties into that particular subrace, that particular heritage, and come up with some feats that a Bleachling and only a Bleachling would likely manifest or be able to choose from. These feats are in addition to the ancestry feats, but they are not extras. They will simply be an option. So if you were playing a Gnishiho, you could choose from your regular Gnishiho ancestry feats, or you could choose from your specific heritage's sets of feats. It's either or, it's not both. So it's just an extra option for my player characters who happen to choose whichever ancestry that they've decided. So let's go ahead and tackle this. I'm going to go ahead and pull up ChatGPT so we can all be on the same page together. Here we go. All right, I've already got the basic information, the basic question, or what I call priming the pump, ready for her. So I've said, Kathy, I'd like your help creating a set of heritage feats for each of my Gnishiho heritages. The feats have to connect with the theme or flavor of that particular heritage. I want some of these feats to build upon or augment the heritage's base ability. So each heritage came with a little power ability, a little something something that was thematic for that particular lineage. So one of my ideas is building upon that base ability, augmenting it in some way with these new feats. I need a set of 5 feats for each of them that spans that level range 1st, 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th. So in other words, each feat should get progressively more powerful. And I'm going to work on one at a time so we're focused, we're not going to get confused. And I'm asking her if she's ready to go. Go ahead and click that, and hopefully she is. I'm going to go ahead and then get my Gnishiho document open in the background, so I'm ready to take a look at that with you. All right, so she's ready to help, ready to go. And look, she's even giving me instructions. So I'm ready to help you. This sounds like a fascinating project. Let's start with the first heritage. Please provide me with the following details: name, description, base, ability, or trait. Very good, Kathy. I will do that for you. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my document. Get this open. And minimize that. There we go. Here's my Bleachling. So I'm going to take this information we have from the Bleachling, and it's a little bit refined from the last time you would have seen it, which was a couple of videos ago. So if you haven't seen my initial introduction to the Gnishiho ancestry, as well as the initial set of feats, you can go back and check that out once. If you can do it right now if you want, if you feel like just pausing this video, saving it for watch later, go and watch the other ones first, and then come back to this one, swing back around. But I'm going to go ahead and grab this information. So there's my Bleachling. There's the lore in the first paragraph. And then I have their ability down here. They get dark vision. All Gnishiho have low light vision, but the Bleachlings, they get dark vision. In addition, you possess the Duskbringer power. So let me clarify that. Okay, and then Duskbringer is an action, and once per day, you can absorb ambient light within a 20-foot emanation, lowering the light level in the area by 1 stage from bright light to dim light for 1 minute. This ability does not affect magical light sources. I'm just trying to think of a 20-foot emanation from yourself. We'll make it like that. So you are absorbing light from around you. I don't know if there's a specific tag for that in Pathfinder, like aura perhaps. That I might need to put that tag in here. But we'll refine these and clarify these as we develop the process or go through them. All right, so I've got the information I want. I'm going to take this over to Kathy, and I'm going to say, certainly, the first heritage we'll use is the Bleachling. Here is the information I have about it. Paste. Enter. All right, so I'm sending this over to her. So what I want her to do is come up with 5 more feats, 1st, 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th level that will hopefully maybe tie into Duskbringer, augment it in some way. I don't need all 5 of these things to do it, but some of them would be nice. All right, so let's see what she's coming up with. This is the exciting part. Like, what does she have? Because I tell you, sometimes she comes up with some really great stuff. A lot of times, though, you're going to need to work with her. You're going to have to go back and forth. You can tell her, yeah, something's not working, or hey, that's too similar to something else we've got. All right, so here we go. Level 1, she is suggesting Shadowmeld. It's a reaction. The trigger is you're in an area of dim light or darkness, which pretty much is everywhere in the Darklands, so that's kind of not a very good trigger. Effect, you blend into the shadows, gaining concealment until the end of your next turn. This makes it harder for enemies to target you accurately. I need the mechanics of that, right? Like I need the, oh, that gives you a +2 armor class. That imposes a -1 penalty on enemy attack rolls. And anyway, like I said, dim light's going to be everywhere. Darkness, maybe. All right, what's level 5? Echoes of the Deep. We've got a 2-action ability. And this one, let me zoom in a little bit on this so you can see it better. 2-action effect. You attune your senses to the echoes of the vaults. For the next 10 minutes, you gain a bonus to survival and stealth checks underground and can move through difficult terrain made of natural stone or earth without penalty. Okay, I mean, not bad. Again, though, I need a mechanics. I've got the time, but I don't have... What is the bonus on the survival stealth? +1? And what does it mean you can move through difficult terrain without penalty? So I guess that means, I think it's difficult terrain slows you by half, so you can just move freely. That's rather powerful if you kind of package that all together. So it's a 2-action thing, yes, but you're probably not using this in combat anyway. I don't see any limit to it, like the number of times per day you can use it. So if there's no limit per day, and this is just a normal travel power, the 2-action's not a penalty at all. And for 10 minutes, so exploration mode, you have bonus survival and stealth checks, and you can move through difficult terrain made of natural stone. So there needs to be a limit there. There needs to be, hey, once a day you can do this, because then it would be a little bit easier for a GM to say, all right, you're going to be traveling through the tunnels ahead, exploration mode, who's doing what, what do you want to do? And perhaps this player is like, oh, I'll do the scout mode, and I want to activate my Echoes of the Deep. Okay, that would be easy enough. I could see this possibly being used in an encounter mode where you approach a cavern, you've maybe heard some noises ahead, you think there's an enemy, so initiative maybe, whatever. So you're perhaps a rogue or something like that. You use Echoes of the Deep, and then you've got the survival stealth, so maybe you can sneak around more easily. There's some rough terrain that you need to creepy crawl through without being alerting the enemy, so it could be useful in a more encounter combat scenario. So there's some decent stuff there. It needs to be fixed, though. It needs to be limited somehow. Level 9, Light Dampener. Your prereq is the Duskbringer power. Single action, you enhance your Duskbringer ability to affect magical light sources. When you activate Duskbringer, you can choose to target one magical light source within range. Make a counteract check against that light source. If successful, the light source's brightness is reduced as per the Duskbringer effect. So let's say an enemy has a light spell going. You can drop that down to dim light. That would be good to combat a different Gnishiho who's using their innate light abilities. I don't know if this is ninth level though, right? I mean, ninth level, this seems a little bit weak to me. Like maybe this is the fifth level power, and ninth level should be a little bit, maybe ninth level's the Echoes of the Deep power. This is always the challenge with these is slotting exactly what level we're talking about. The way I'll do it is I'm going to need to go and compare this level 9 ability to, let's say, a spell that is similar. Like the player core, does it have the darkness spell? Because that would be the one that's popping off the top of my head as possibly. All right, so darkness. All right, so check this out. Darkness spell is probably a good analog to this ability. Darkness is a 1, 2, or 3 action ability, and it's a second level spell. So we go back over here. We go look at Light Dampener. It's a 1 action ability, and it's essentially darkening things, but it's at ninth level. By ninth level, you have access to what, like fourth level spells or something like that, maybe higher. Let me just double check that because I want to be accurate. Let's say I'm a wizard. Yo, wizard Hattie. I'm a wizard, and I am ninth level. At ninth level, a wizard has access to fifth level spells. So at ninth level, I would get access to a feat that gives me a second level spell equivalent. That seems a little bit weak sauce. Whereas if it was the fifth level feat, that would be a little more logical because at fifth level you're getting access to third level spells, so gaining a second level feat ability spell wise might make a little more sense. So that's why I'm also thinking about this. But let's see what darkness does. So you create a Shroud of Darkness at with a second level spell, so you could cast this starting at third level. That prevents light from penetrating or emanating within the area. Light does not enter the area, and any non-magical light sources such as a torch or lantern do not emanate any light if their light radius would extend beyond the darkness. This also suppresses magical light of your darkness's spell rank or lower. Lights can't pass through, so creatures in the area can't see out. From outside, it appears like a pure globe of darkness. So this is superior, right? This second level spell is pretty much darkening everything. And it is suppressing magical light if it's your rank or lower. Versus this feat, which only lowers things 1 light level. So this is a trash level 9 feat. It's too weak. It should at least be equal to a darkness spell, because at this point, I'm able to get a 5th level spell. I'm able to heighten that darkness spell, as a matter of fact. If I had darkness, I could heighten it to 4th level by the time I'm 9th level, and that would blank out dark vision. So yeah, this feat is just way too weak for a level 9. At best, it's this level 5 power. At best. Now, if it were to snuff light and everything else, then sure. Yeah, it's just, if you snuffed fires, put out torches, that could be useful. If this caused some sort of debilitating effect, like perhaps fear, something of that nature, that could make it, a little worthwhile. So yeah, you're only lowering light levels by 1, including magical light, but anybody within it then also has to make a will save, otherwise they start to get afraid, panicking, whatever. That could be another way to tweak this ability. Leave it at level 9, but give it more oomph. Maybe it has some sort of slow effect. It makes it like difficult terrain or something. I don't know. It needs more. Level 13. The proposed feat is Vault Warden. It's a 3 action. So this is should be powerful. Let's see what it does. Once per day, you can invoke the ancient energies of the vaults. For 1 minute, you gain Tremor Sense with a 60-foot radius and a +2 status bonus to AC and saves while underground. Well, you're underground automatically, so we don't need to worry about that condition. But is this worth a level 13 pick? You get Tremor Sense, 60-foot radius. That's pretty good, right? That essentially lets you see anything that's moving that's in contact with the floor, even if you don't have direct line of sight. You can sense the vibrations. And your AC is going to go up by 2, as well as your saving throws. So that's pretty good. Now, I don't know if this fits the theme of a Bleachling, though. You know, Vault Warden. Now, we did say the Bleachlings are... Where is it here? Many of your kind become Veinward Sentinels, solitary explorers skilled at navigating the treacherous depths, mapping uncharted caverns, and serving as scouts. So, you know, is that jiving with a warden? Because this, I could see this more like the gem blades might get something like this. You know, you can invoke the power of the vaults and charge up your tattoos and gain this. So I like this for a gem blade. I don't really like this for the Bleachling. Right? And Bleachings are sneaky, they're quiet, they're stealthy, they're maybe ranger types. You know, they embrace the monochrome, they embrace the lack of color, the lack of light. Darkness is their ally. So that should be mirroring these powers. So far I'm not thrilled, right? I am not excited about these. There's, you know, a couple of these are okay, but these first 3 are definitely going to need some work to make them decent or usable. And the 13 one is good, but it's not flavorful for this particular heritage. All right, let's see what the penultimate heritage ability could be. Level 17 Ancestry Feat, Abyssal Embrace. If you're a Bleachling, you pick this at 17th level. So this should be like a capstone type of ancestry power. A 3-action action. So this should be dang good. Once a day, okay, I've got double limitations, right? It takes all of my actions on my turn. I can only use it once per day. This better be hella good. Effect. You become one with the darkness of the vaults. For 1 minute, you gain the ability to move through solid earth and stone as if it were water. So I guess it's kind of like you're swimming through stone. And your attacks in dim light or darkness deal additional negative damage. That would be void, I believe, is the damage type now in the remastered, equal to your level. How long does this last? It doesn't say. Oh, wait, sorry. 1 minute. So for 1 minute, you can move through solid earth and stone. That's pretty powerful. Of course, does that mean you just sink through the floor and don't stop? And your attacks in dim light or darkness, which would be everywhere, unless somebody throws some, light spell out there, you get additional void damage equal to your level. So you'd be doing an additional 17 damage with every attack. So your first round is you're going Abyssal Embrace, and then every round after that, you're dealing an extra 17 damage per hit. Presumably by that point, you've got enough, bonuses to hit with both your first attacks, first and second, despite the penalty, perhaps. So you're looking at possibly an extra 34 damage every turn for the rest of that fight for the next minute, which pretty much would be over before a minute if it's a typical fight that lasts, 3, 4 rounds, maybe 5 rounds if it's some tough boss fight or something. I don't see too many fights going a full minute, which would be 10 rounds. So, that's a decent amount of extra damage you're throwing out there. I like that you can walk through the walls and stuff. This one might be good as a 17th level power. You'd have to compare it with other feats of the 17th level as far as the damage goes. That would be my one main comparison I would do to see if this makes sense. And then the ability to kind of move through solid stone. That sounds like oh god, what was it? Earth Swim or something like that. I don't know if that was a spell or a monster ability, but I think like earth elementals can do this. They can swim through the earth. So I'd have to compare it to something like that to see if it how this works. But it sounds like you can move half speed if it's like swimming. Okay, and then my other problem with it is that it only made one of the options rely upon the prerequisite power. I was looking for at minimum 2, if not 3. I mean, you should be able to do more with Duskbringer. Make it do damage. Make it have some debuff. Maybe even buff yourself if you're standing in it somehow. It could wrap you in some shadowiness, give you temporary HP or something. There's things you could do with it that Kathy didn't consider. So now you're sort of left with, what do you do? I can sit her and tell her these are trash and start over. She will, or propose additional ones. Maybe she comes up with something better. I could take them as is and do some manual revision, which is going to involve a lot of comparison with, the current published stuff. Or you could go one by one, piece by piece, and have her fix it, edit it with a back and forth. That's probably the method I would use. Take this one, at least with the ones I like that have some promise, and say, hey, level 1 Shadowmeld. I like this, but it needs some mechanics. So we can do this. Let's revise each proposed feat one at a time, and also compare to published feats of similar level to determine power appropriateness, or level appropriateness. Level appropriateness. Boom. 4. Let's see, 4. Or what happened there? Okay, actually I deleted it. Okay, so for the level 1 Shadowmeld, I think the trigger is too easy. The game world takes place underground, so the character will always be in a triggered state. So in other words, it shouldn't be a reaction. You might as well just make it an action or something. Also, what are the specific mechanics based on Pathfinder 2E rules that the power provides? Harder to be targeted means what mechanically? Can you revise or replace? Let's see what she has to say about that. You're correct in noting that the trigger for Shadowmeld might be too easily activated in an underground setting where dim light and darkness are common. Also, for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, hard to be a target should be translated to specific game terms, yeah? Here's a revised version with more appropriate trigger and clearer mechanics. So it's still a reaction. The trigger, you're targeted by an attack while in an area of dim light or darkness, and you have not used a move action this turn. Okay. Alright. It's a little bit limiting. Now we go from you're using it all the time to, alright, well, if I didn't move at all, then I can't use this reaction. I guess it kind of makes sense, because if Shadow Meld means you're melting into the shadows, well, if you've just been moving, it would probably be easier to spot you and really couldn't melt into the shadows. Alright. You meld into the shadows to avoid the attack, making you temporarily elusive. The attacker must make their attack roll against your stealth DC instead of your AC. If the attack fails to meet your stealth DC, it misses regardless of your AC. This ability can only be used if you haven't moved on your current turn, representing your stillness blending in the shadows. Is there any power that's ever done that before? Where you target a stealth DC? I, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know Pathfinder well enough to see if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's very interesting. I don't know if that's something that's Pathfinder normal. You could target a stealth DC. This would be very good if you, let's say you're a rogue and you have a high stealth. You know, my stealth is 27. My AC is only at 20. That would be very good then. But I don't know if that's okay by the rules or not. And I'm not even sure exactly how high a stealth DC could get. Because, do you even define what a stealth DC is? Again, I'm kind of confused. I don't know if it sounds interesting. So if I'm interpreting this correctly, your stealth DC would say, let's say, be the base 10 plus your training, your proficiency modifier, plus your dexterity bonus. So hypothetically, you got 10. Let's say your master, that'd be 4 more. So that's 14. And then your level, whatever that is, would be added to it. So let's say you're, I don't know, 10th level. So you got 10 plus 4 is 14, plus your level's 10 more. That's 24. And then let's say your dex is 4, 28. So yeah, hypothetically, you could have a super high stealth DC if that's a thing in Pathfinder. Although it seems easy enough to calculate. Maybe it should be your class DC. I don't know if that's the same thing or not in this scenario. Very, very, very interesting. I like this concept. I don't know. Let me ask her if she knows. Is stealth DC a mechanic or rule in Pathfinder 2E? I've not heard of it, but I'm new to the game. Let's see if she knows. Like, if she can tell me where it is, then. Though it's more commonly used in situations where someone else is trying to detect the character's stealth. Stealth DC is 10 plus the character's stealth skill. It's often used in opposed checks, perception versus stealth. However, using stealth DC as a target number for an attack roll as opposed to the revised Shadowmeld feat is not a standard rule. This was an attempt to translate that being harder to hit. I mean, no, I see now she's backtracking. I love what your idea was here, Kathy. It's extremely unique. I mean, if this is the first time it's come up before, let me look in the player core. Is there a stealth DC? All right, yes. Okay, there is a stealth DC. Okay, so there you go. So perception checks use the stealth DC. Got it. All right. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Stealth DC. Interesting. The GM rolls a secret occultism check for your gets deception stealth DC. Okay. Stealth. Dex. All right. Well, hell. Let's go with it. I mean, this is pretty interesting. I mean, she may have just created a brand new mechanic that's never seen the light of day before. So, and you all who are watching right now just bore witness to perhaps true intelligence, right? I mean, she came up with something that's never been seen before. Possibly, I don't know. I'd have to research that. If any of you will know if that's ever been done before, share. But that kind of really, I mean, that's something almost like, you're playing D&D as an example, and you have to, on the fly, come up with some BS to explain something, as D&D 5e is prone to, then that would be the kind of thing that you would maybe come up as a, at the table, this, decision. hey, I'm trying to hit this guy, but he's dodging in the shadows. Shouldn't there be some, or should I get some bonus or something? Yeah, let's use your stealth roll versus, I could see something like that in a D&D 5e make it up as you go type of scenario. But I don't think that's anything that's ever happening or normally happens in Pathfinder. Again, if you know, please share because I know you could target the stealth DC with perception checks is what I'm seeing, but to target it as an AC, point out, yeah, so all these things are, I mean, it's very interesting, a very interesting application of the stealth DC. The question is it more often than not going to be higher than your armor class? Because if I have a high stealth DC, I probably have a high AC, just given the fact that some dexterous, nimble dude. So I don't know when and how many circumstances would the stealth DC be higher. This is a very intriguing question, I think. You see, this is the fun of kind of working with her because she comes up with some crazy stuff sometime that blows your mind. And so again, maybe I'm just overreacting and like, oh yeah, dude, stealth DC is being targeted by attacks that happens all the time, you know. But I don't know enough about the game to be honest. I haven't played it that much, with the new rules, so it's hard for me to say. So that kind of is an interesting concept though. All right. Fun. All right, let's you know what? I'm gonna stop there. Obviously I got a whole bunch more to go, right? This is just one Bleachling. I got all the other five to go. But I've been at this about 30 minutes, so you can tell it's gonna take me another couple hours to get through the basics, and then I got to do all the revision process and do kind of what I'm doing now. You see, I'm like going and checking the book to see what this ability would compare to. Does it make sense? Is it too overpowered, underpowered? Can I shift the level up or down? Can we add a little something, take something away? And then once I have it where I think it's decent, then what I do is at the end I ask Kathy, go through and do an evaluation of each of the feats at the levels we're proposing and do an analysis and see if those feats seem to be of the correct level. Are they powerful enough or not powerful enough? And even once you do that, I mean, there's no guarantee something's right or wrong. You're going to have to then go ahead and play test it, which in my case is give it to my players and let them see if they can break stuff or, complain that it's too weak. And then we revise it and fix it. It's no big deal. But all right. I appreciate you taking a look, checking this out. If you do want to see the final finished product, let me know in the comments because what I'll do is I can put this whole Gnishiho ancestry, all these feats and heritages together in a document, a PDF, make it available for you to download it. So let me know what you think if you're interested. In the meantime, have yourself a good night, and I will catch you in the next video. Good night.